Tuesday news roundup. There is a whole lot to cover from Chinese EV makers who are getting into the big rig game. We've got some other stuff to talk about. We've got a supercar from China that'll do 0 to 60 in quicker than 2 seconds. We've got some great news on residential storage deployments, Lamborghini, and even some FUD we need to remind viewers about in terms of your electric vehicle tires wearing out. It's all so crazy. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. We got Randy Kirk here because when I'm talking about good news, I think about Randy. When I'm talking about bad news, I definitely have to think about Randy because Randy is my go-to guy for good and bad news.
I don't have a bad news show. I only have a good news show.
Well, this isn't bad news. This is silly news.
Oh, silly news. No, I don't have silly news.
I just wanted to call you bad news. Yeah, my mom told me not to hang out with you anymore, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that's how moms are.
That's how moms are. Got a cup of coffee here I wish to drink from, but first I'll have to ask you a question so that I can have an opportunity to do that. Hey, have you heard that Chinese firms are taking on the EV truck challenges? A bunch of them. Dominant in the electric car sector, Chinese companies have been quietly consolidating their positions in the lesser-watched trucking scene. But foreign tariffs and a perceived quality gap could signal roadblock. I like that they said perceived. Well, it's true, though. I mean, the Chinese reputation for churning out garbage should have died 20 years ago. And the only reason it persists is because of sites like Wish and Temu that permit the garbage to actually be exported.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, like any country, it's a very large country. There's all kinds of manufacturers, and some of the manufacturers are great, and some of them are not so great. And that will be true probably even when they get to, the levels of Taiwan or Japan or South Korea. There will still be some people that you can't really trust or respect.
I'm sure if you went to South Korea, you could find companies making junk.
Yep.
And the truth is, you've got, a country that big with that much manufacturing, it's going to be a mixed bag. Your iPhone is made in China.
Yeah.
No one complains about quality of an iPhone. Every now and then there'll be an issue where, these 20,000 phones went out with inadequate glass. Let's fix it. But that's an anomaly. So there's a bunch of companies at it. BYD, and I'm going to just go out and try and say this one, Beichi Photon have shipped trucks to countries like Italy, Poland, Spain, and Mexico, and have opened assembly plants around the world.
Wow.
And if we're going to talk about this, we should talk about, viewers shared this with me. Thank you, viewers. Windrose. They've got it. Now, what a neat concept you got there, huh?
Yeah.
For that. I mean, I tell you, I respected Windrose until they went topless. No, this is not so different from the vision we saw in the movie Logan, where what they did was they actually put this all the way under the container. So the container was the entire truck, but this is what you need. I think you still want that arrow, but I don't know. It's a great idea. And best in class, 729 kilowatt hour battery pack will get you 420 miles. That's comparable to Tesla semi-efficiency, which of course Bill Gates and the head of Mercedes said was not possible. And for that matter, they're going to build a factory in Georgia.
My, yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. It looks like a very tall cybercab.
Very tall, yes.
Yes. They have 6,400 existing orders. And I don't know if those are legit orders. They're probably memorandum of understanding. If you give me these specs at this price, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And 6,400 sounds like a lot, but in trucking, it really isn't.
Well, what people forget, especially in the Tesla community, I find that people think that you have to be a $1 billion company or $100 billion company to count. If you are doing for some people, they're doing $1 million a year in some kind of a service industry. They're making, 330,000 take home. a 5 million company. I had a $5 million company. My partner and I were both making bank.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't
Yeah.
have to be that big in order to make significant money.
I can't pull it up quick enough, but there is a company out of Vancouver, BC called Edison that makes hybrid trucks with range extenders. And well, they're not true EVs, right? They're not meant to replace all use cases, but they do a lot of logging where they start at the top of the hill with a full load and go back up empty. And for them, I mean, in theory, a truck could drive forever under those conditions
Yes.
without running out of juice. But when you need the extra juice, you got it because there's a small tank with a generator. So these are all things that are coming to pass. Now, let's get exciting here. I'm going to share this. We've got a story, a Chinese supercar loaded with AI tech, 0 to 60 in less than 1.9 seconds. Blink of an eye. I blink a little bit faster than that, but
Well,
depends how.
doesn't is the Model S Plaid just about the same? Is it 2 or is it just under 2?
It's like 199.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But when you get under really 3 seconds, it gets real. I mean, you're up against the laws of physics at that
Yeah.
point. And it's beautiful. If my eyes were drier, it would be the blink of an eye. It's beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous. That is a classic design. I'm confident in 20, 30 years that will look as good as it does right now. But, prototypes are easy.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. The sub 2 second club of EVs is filling up fast.
Yeah.
But most of them are not mass produced yet. So that's exciting.
Yeah. I think the funny thing about the electric cars and electric motors in the cars is that they're at that level, the 2 second level. I think probably it's no longer a massive challenge to get there. If that's what you want to do, if that's your optimal, and also kind of being in the same reference group as Tesla with regard to efficiency. I think 5 years ago it was special, but it gets less and less special over time. Now you could have another Tesla breakthrough, and all of a sudden everybody's efficiency is not on the same planet. But is the efficiency going to be the issue going forward? So on these trucks, I think efficiency will be very, very important. But what's really going to be important is how long do they last, and are they autonomous?
Are they autonomous? I test drive a lot of cars. My friends at Platt Auto in Portland, Oregon, just south of Portland in Milwaukee, Oregon, allow me to come in anytime I like and test drive anything they have there. They'll go on camera. They'll talk to me about it. And I drive some really fun, really great cars, but you have to drive them.
Yeah.
And that's great for a test drive, but it's not. I can't go back, Randy. I can't go back. And when I interviewed Corey Steuben from Monroe and Associates, he was still with Monroe at the time, we were talking about fast cars. And he said, when it comes to a gas car, making one that can do outrageously quick 0 to 60s, it is a monumental engineering challenge. You've got to design whole new motors, whole new systems. Whereas with an electric car, you can build one in your garage.
Yeah.
Maybe not for a full-size car, but certainly for a little track sprinter that you're going to run on weekends.
Yeah.
You just add a second motor, a third motor, a fourth motor, put on a slightly larger motor. They're not that heavy. So the challenge is quite different. And the real race is going to be in efficiency and manufacturability and reliability, as you said, Randy Kirk. As you said. I'm going to keep calling you out on things you say. Hey, did you know residential energy storage hits all-time high in the U.S.? Isn't that great? That's great news. Yes. I love to see that. And you can see the important thing here is you just see the, residential segment year over year change up. It's just up by like 50, 60% plus. So that is good. Markets for energy in Texas and California are showing no signs of slowing down. California makes sense because the residential and frankly industrial rates, but all rates are outrageous. They're very expensive in California.
Yes.
And parts of the Northeast as well. I know Massachusetts has very steep power because apparently they're not getting hydro or not enough hydro, but there are installations in Arizona, Colorado, and Florida, and Vermont also occurred in Q3, indicating a national desire for grid-scale energy deployment. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I've always believed, I mean, the whole idea of having Powerwall is fantastic. I think that there is a price resistance if you're not already putting in solar at the same time. Then there's the resistance of the utilities to giving you arbitrage on your use. So, they've actually had places in California, crazy as it may seem, where we had the arbitrage availability. You could, fill up your battery at night and then deploy it during the day and sell it back to the utility. And but that then they stopped. So they said, nope, not going to do that anymore because it's interfering with our profits. So you've got that all over the country where that problem exists. But I think over time we'll start to see that everybody has to fall in line on that kind of thing, and the prices will come down as the numbers go up. So I think those are the two resistances.
My concern with the pricing, and you and I have talked about this off air, is that the cost of installing the gateway and the permitting and all that, it's a complicated process. It's very involved. It's not as easy as just buy a battery and plug it in. It's a lot more than that. And I don't see a path to getting that part cheaper, but the $3 to $5 grand you might have to pay to put it in will make more sense if you're putting in enough power to juice your house for a week, say,
Right.
instead of a few hours. Gets easier to justify. Before we get to the second half of the show, because yes, we're just getting started, I thought I'd mention the Chattanooga Charge, March 29th and 30th. I will be there. Look at that, 10 clubs sponsoring it. Florida, Denver, Maryland, Arkansas, Michigan, Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Quad Cities, all going to be there. And there's still some sponsor spots available. Utensil, that's funny. I went out, I've got an interview about that came out on Monday at 11 a.m. I had a chance to go out to their design center in Portland. And then, some great speakers, as always, going to be there. Jim, the Iowa Tesla guy, I know what I said on X. It turns out he's not chopped liver, but you won't recognize him because he now has a beard.
Oh.
So if you have face blindness, just be advised that he may not look like that when we get there. In the second part here, this is I hope you're ready to be shocked. I hope your heart medication has been taken because Lamborghini's first EV has been pushed back.
No,
I know the shock, you guys, the shock. They showed the concept last year. Not much news on it since, and now they're saying it's delayed. The market isn't ready.
Yes, the market
is that what it is?
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah. Toyota's market isn't ready either. GM's market isn't ready either. I don't know what's BYD's market is ready and Tesla's market is ready.
It sure seems like it. You look at the growth from some companies like NIO and Leap Motors and Xiaomi, who came out of nowhere. Unfortunately, their markets are ready, but who's going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Lamborghini customers.
Buyers. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess this is super complicated. This one, let me see if I can make it look a little prettier. I can. This is quite silly, and I think we need to address it. Did you know electric cars are generally 23% heavier than equivalent gas cars? Are they? No, as I've pointed out repeatedly, if you look at a Tesla Model 3 and compare the curb weight to a BMW 3 Series, they are almost identical. If you compare a Model S to a Mercedes S-Class, the weight is almost identical. If you look at the Model Y versus a lot of the crossover SUVs, like from BMW, you find the weight is comparable, but those are just Teslas. If we throw in any number of Hummers, all of a sudden, the weighting gets ridiculous. Hummer, very, very silly. So with that said, now that we've got that out of the way, the tires, man, we got a accelerated wear for electric cars. Now, Randy, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that you, like me, drive fairly casually.
No, that would not be true.
Really?
Me are my wife, and she's the driver, and she's also not a casual driver. Both of us are pedal to the metal, scary kind of drivers. And our tires lasted about 40,000.
That's in line with my experience. I've done some 0 to 60 tears to show people from, on little, I mean, they're called highways. The speed limit's probably 55. And, but not many. And I don't drive aggressively. I'm at 25,000 miles and I've got about half the wear left before I need to address it.
Yeah, we just last week put the new tires on, 38,831 miles. So
I expect to get about that out of mine. That is pretty normal from a car. And you can get tires that will last longer. I think it was Tech Geek Tesla who said that he found these tires, these Korean made tires that he put on his Model 3 and lasted, I want to say 3-4 years of year-round driving in the Chicago area. And he got 60,000 miles on these tires.
okay, yeah.
And they were not outrageously expensive. Let's let myths like this go, shall we? I do want to thank all the new subscribers who have shown up over the past few weeks as I've been covering the Cybercab. This has been an exciting week for growth. If you haven't subscribed, do so. If you think you're subscribed, double check, because YouTube has a habit of unsubscribing people. And if you want to throw me a nickel, these are some ways you could do it. The referral link no longer works. Maybe you should go to Randy's channel and see if he's got a referral link, because I maxed out. I'm only able to refer 10 people, so you could do that as well. And yeah, everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do. Stay tuned and juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots, the next time some news comes about.